Hi Sven. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
So
It's good to
we
see
had
you.
a brief test before, so I already knew that you're outside and enjoying the beautiful weather. Thank you for being here. Oh, Enrico is online as well. So
Oh, hi
uh,
Enrico. Yeah, I was thinking that it's just much easier to face the issue of trauma in this
exactly,
beautiful nature environment. Yeah. So yeah,
exactly.
and also like
It,
for all the people who are trapped in their apartments. Yeah, we can just yeah, I can take them for a moment to this beautiful space.
exactly. Like as you have seen, the situation in Cologne, where I'm at the moment, is totally different. All the people are outside, but like keeping at least a little bit social distance. But there's nobody outside where you are. You already told us or told me you're close to Amsterdam in
Yeah, I'll
a
show you
more.
the. This is the Ransdorp Kerk, which means church. So I'm just sitting next to the church. There's also a small cemetery, but I thought that's too much. So
Oh, no, no,
then,
no, no. We
yeah,
should do that in front of the church where we see all the trees.
yeah,
So we may start. We're back again. My name is Sven, and I'm curator and program coordinator for Filmfest Dresden, International Short Film Festival. Welcome to our last Instagram live talk at our Filmfest at Home edition of Filmfest Dresden. Our guest today, Annette Osorek. I'm really happy that you're here. Well, we should have seen us now. Unfortunately, we can't do this talk in Dresden,
yeah. That's
but
such a pity. Yeah,
I hope we'll have the chance to do that in September. Be Before we start, I'd like to introduce you briefly. Annette is artistic director of Kaboom Film Festival, as well as film curator and education expert. She's still very, very young, but already has more than 15 years of experience in the film industry, in the production of film events, educational workshops, exhibitions and festivals on the Polish and European film market. She's Polish ambassador of the European Animation Award and a member of the European Children's Film Association. She was a jury member at several film festivals like the Berlinale and, more important, Filmfest Dresden, last year's Filmfest Dresden edition. Well, as we said, actually, right now we would be eating ice cream together and presenting a program together that was curated by you. The ice cream hopefully we'll have in September. And
that's yeah, that would be great. Based on my experiences, like last year with at your festival, it was like yeah, Dresden is an amazing place to have an ice cream together. So
exactly,
still
that
hope
was
for
my
that.
first question. So do we get the best ice cream in Dresden? No,
Ah, there was actually there was this one ice cream place where I went to with Enrico and with Anna, and yeah, I don't remember the name. I think you have to ask Anna what was the name of it. But I remember we had a yeah pretty good ice cream there. Even though it's okay, I see that Enrico is already like commenting. Yeah,
exactly.
I think we have to also explain that in every bio, I'm always like saying that I'm a huge ice cream lover. So that's why the subject. Yeah.
Exactly. That's why it popped up. So we had several questions. I do have some questions, and some of our spectators, of our fans, already sent in some questions. So with all the festivals and events you're involved in, how do you manage your busy schedule? That was the first question.
How do they manage the busy schedule? All right. Yeah. So actually, now because our festival is supposed to take place in November, then it's still like a pretty slow time for us, and also the CE Animation Forum, which I organize in Czech Republic, which takes place usually in May, is cancelled this year. And I think now most of the activities of the festival is based on the watching the online information about the coronavirus progress. So I think till the point when we all gonna know what's gonna be the reality in the autumn, then we'll be finally could use all our time and think only about the festival. But for now, we are forced to think about so many other things which might influence our festivals. So yeah, so I actually also because at the beginning of the year we are already thinking about a 4-year plan. So for the last, I think, 4 months we were like busy to write 4-year plan for our festival. Then actually I got also a feeling that the frame for the future festival is there. So now I can think about all the details, about my favorite names, about and discuss with the programming team about the detailed shape of the festival. But I got also impression that the base for the future festival is already there.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And hopefully everything will go well, and we can someday we might continue with our regular work we do have.
Yeah, it is a pretty weird moment for, I think, for all of us, for all of the short film festivals, animation festivals, like a festival class A. It's really like everyone has a feeling that this year will somehow redefine the situation on the market for the festivals, for the filmmakers, and for the audience. The only thing is everyone are afraid, I think, now to say loud what are the possibilities, what are the possible results of this year. But yeah, we are all now observe and have some plans and some like a private opinions about it, I think.
And the advantage is we might join festivals we maybe wouldn't have the chance to visit, like I saw some films of Ann Arbor Festival. Now I'm following the Vision du Réel Festival. So that's the advantage of the situation.
Yeah, that's true. That with the amount of the festivals going online, of course, then for example, because of dates of Stuttgart Animation Festival, which was always almost the same as a CE Animation. In Liberec. I've never could attend Stuttgart, but now because they are going online and the CE Animation is also cancelled, then I will be able to see the program and attend some part of the professional program. So it's great. So yeah, there are some pluses in this weird times.
So I will see the program of the Stuttgart Festival as well. So we might each exchange some ideas and experiences of that afterwards. That's
yeah, great. We can synchronize the screening together.
Exactly. There was another question. Where does your fascination for animated films come from?
Yeah, so I think with all of us who are like into animation world, it's connected that with the fact that I was always into art, illustration, graphic novels, comics, and then like of course animation. So at the beginning it was of course children films, but when I discovered the artists who are created movies for adults, animation for adults, like I remember my like a late night screenings and watching of Piotr Dumała film. I was, it was a groundbreaking experience. So it was like, because in Polish television, I don't know how it was in German, they always screen independent and let's say experimental content late at night. So it was always connected with the fact that I was sitting alone in the living room of my home. My parents were already sleeping, and I was like watching like at 2 or 3 a.m. this like a short experimental animation, and there was something magical in it. And then the combination of all of these factors. So the fact that it's a somehow illustration. It's a moving one, and that. It can influence you and touch you on so many levels. yeah, that was amazing. I still got this feeling. When I, but yeah, I'm thinking about these Piotr Dumas films. I think it was the Crime and Punishment, or maybe Kafka, and yeah, it was one of the most amazing experiences. And then I, of course, started to follow other authors, and then yeah, at the end of the day, I'm an artistic director of Kaboom. So this is how it goes. So recommend to watch animated films late at night.
Do you have any recommendations? Any favorite films? Might be feature length or short films.
Animation or yes?
Animation, yeah.
Yeah, so many. It's like it's really funny because recently my friend Per asked me about the list of my favorite films, and he said the limit is 10. And I hate those kind of chains and those kind of requests, because then I have to sit again and like also, you know, reconsider my whole list. So because, you know, there are like films which were important when you were like very young. There are like some films which are still your favorites, and there are like so many discoveries on the way. So every year, for example, I have this one film which is like a groundbreaking for me, like that I can watch it over and over. Like last year it was Purple Boy, and the year before it was The Fall of Boris Labe. So I remember this moment when I think I watched this film in the video library. So the impact should be much smaller, because usually when you watch something on the big screen, it's of course overwhelming experience, very nice one. But I was watching the Fall in the video bar, and I just had to stop after that screening, because I was just thinking like, this is a masterpiece, and I just left the screening room because I couldn't watch anything else after. So and this kind of, so this is like a contemporary discoveries, but so many. I love the works of Antonisz. This is the experimental animator from Poland, and he was working direct on film. And one of his most famous film is called Jamniczek. It's a sausage dog. So how a sausage dog works. It's such
it's beautiful.
Yeah, you've seen it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's such a beautiful film, and it's it's a beautiful. It's full of joy, full of inventions, full of everything which animation should be. So there's like no limits in looking for like new ways of telling the stories. I also love the fact that Antonisz was working with the not professionals, so he was able to catch a lady on the corridor of his studio who was just cleaning the floor, and he was saying like, "Hi, can you help me with reading this short text?" And then we have this like a incredible voice of this old lady reading the narration, and it's a you can clearly say that she has no clue what is it about and what does it mean, but she's just enjoying it so much, and also this effect is amazing. This scratchy raw voice of this lady as a narration to this film, which is suitable so well, fits so well the film. What else from the features? I can say something which I Lost My Body. This is the recent one which just killed me. I love this film, but if I can recommend something for people who start their adventure with animation and they just like art house film, then My Life as Zucchini. It's
fun.
It's like one of the most beautiful films I've ever seen in my life. I can watch it over and over. The same with the whole production from Ghibli Studio. I've seen this film so many times already. I know every scene, but it has a strong impact on me every time I watch it. So I see that Saszka Majowa join, and she's one of my actually favorite animators from Czech Republic. So I love her film. So if you only have a chance to see her film Mitopolis or Swimming Pool, it's like I think I'm a fanatic of her work. So she's always a bit embarrassed when I'm saying that and when I'm sharing this thing, but because she's joined, so I have to, I think, say that loud. So
Oh,
Saszka
great.
Majova from Czech Republic. Also, I really recommend her as an illustrator, graphic, and also animator. I saw,
Oh,
I
that's
think, Daphna Avadish also. You know, there's like a lot of my favorite animators here. So, so it's so nice.
Thank you for joining our session. Thank you for being here. Oh, great. Um, so we've got a lot of recommendation, many things to watch in the next nights and days and weeks. Um, so you are you illustrated children books I've read. So did you ever work on an animated film by yourself, or do you plan to do so at some point?
Yeah, so I always, I had some attempts during the workshop, animation workshop. So I made once a film, also like a direct one, by scratching on the film. So that's, I think, something which really I really love to work direct on film.
Mhm.
And but that was, I think, the only attempt I made, because I love to make illustrations, so the like a single frames. But I think in animation, the frames itself is not so important as the movement between, like the things which happen between the illustrations. So I think I've never had the patience to continue with like making more and more illustration. Um, and yeah, and at the end to make a movie by myself. So also like it is a bit overwhelming with the amount of amazing artists out there who are making their beautiful films. I think it's sometimes when you watch this 1,300 films per year, and among them you see all of this like treasures, then it's really hard to push yourself to do something by yourself. So usually I'm doing something, and maybe if I will ever do a movie by myself, it will be because my friend will ask me to do so. For example, recently a friend from Norway asked me to make a cover for his album.
Mhm.
So then I'm pushed by friend to do something in that direction. So if I will ever do animated film, it will be probably because someone say that Aneta, you just have to do it, and we are waiting for it. And yeah, maybe then yes.
But the problem is a bit busy schedule you have. So
Yeah, that's true. But I have to say that I think it's extremely important also when you are like a programmer or artistic director to develop your like a private passions and private passions. I think that's the thing, that if you are completely forget about it, then you are like slowly stop being like a creative a programmer or person who is like who is like able to prepare interesting program, because you have to also develop yourself as an artist and as a human being. And I think doing yourself things which are giving you happiness, joy, and are inspiring for you as a person makes you better curator, programmer, or artistic director.
there's a question popping up from our office in Dresden. Aneta, how about drawing your favorite dog?
Okay, so this is I will treat it as an order, because for drawing, because yeah, I have one favorite dog in Dresden already. It's her name is Mila, and clearly she needs a portrait. So
Definitely.
I'm gonna do it after this talk. Actually, you know, I think I'm gonna do animated films about Mila.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Okay, so that's my thing. So I'll treat it as this request from a friend to push me to do more about to do more animation. So Anne, you got it. There will be a movie about Mila.
Oh, great. We're waiting for that. And
Oh, Mila already like it. Oh my God, this
yeah,
dog is
yeah, yeah.
so sharp. Yeah.
Oh, great. We are looking forward and to the film. The subject of our Film Fest focus is much more up to date than we expected when we planned it and we hoped.
Yeah.
It's the subject is trauma. the COVID-19 situation is already traumatic and it will produce trauma. You compiled an animation film program on that subject. You had a carte blanche. That means you could do whatever you wanted to. Which approach did you choose to the subject, and why?
Yeah, so you are so right, because if you take a look on the first film which I choose, Balcony, yeah, it's a story of people trapped in their apartments, and like people at the edge who are like so frustrated with the situation, frustrated with the situation which is surrounding them, that they just start to scream. And that's just the beginning of the program, which I've built it mostly on the films talking exactly about this moment. So I was looking for films which present people in at the moment when the like a burden of the trauma is too much, and when they are like at the edge of surviving this situation. Because as we know, that people can live with trauma for a long time, many years, and deep underneath there is this traumatic experience which hurt them. But there are like a moments when they finally say no, or at least realize that they can't go on with it anymore. And like in the Icebergs, the last film from my selection. Yeah, they're like a situation when people are like deciding to do something. So they decide to jump, they decide to close the annoying door, they decide to or sometimes they're just going on with the annoying, bad, traumatic, toxic situation they are in. But this moment when something changes, I think is the most interesting, because of course it's the dramatic twists and dramatic changes, or like a moments in our lives when we finally decide to say no or yes to the things which we like always were. Yeah, so no to the things which we don't want to carry anymore, or yes to the things we were always afraid to do and we always wanted. They are like the moments when the story starts, when the history or the narration is the most interesting one. So I think only in two cases, the Lipset Diary and with the Shrapnel, so two films from the selection, they are like a bit different approach. So with the Lipset Diary, what was very interesting for me was the fact that Teodor Ushev said that it was also a traumatic experience for him to make that film, because it meant to dive into the world of the experimental artist who make a suicide and describe his way towards this this blackness at the end. And with Shrapnel, it's also the whole story of like a whole process of trauma. So the moment of being hurt, the moment of like the long time of living with trauma, and then the moment of healing. So that's, let's say, the whole process of trauma found some kind of a reflection in that film. But in all the others, it's more about yeah, this very like a weird moments when you just can't handle and just start to scream, or like do something extraordinary. Like yeah, it's that was the thing which was the most interesting for me. What is also nice, what I like, was the fact that even though I didn't choose the most tough films, I also, as lots of people try to do sometimes, I didn't try to cover that subject with love, because it would be it was so so tempting to just find the movies which are making jokes, or like some kind of a absurd, abstract, grotesque story about trauma. Because it's this is one of the best ways of dealing with these tough experiences in our life, just to laugh, or just try to treat these things a bit less serious. But sometimes it's nice to dive in the darkness, just to appreciate one of the main character of like a character from the diary, from the Theodor Ushev film, said at the end of his film. I will read it because it's one of my favorite, and he used it so many times. Yeah, to appreciate these moments when the brightness are returning. I think we also need to appreciate these moments of darkness.
It's a beautiful sentence. For all those who don't know the film was an appetizer for September's edition of Filmfest Dresden, and was yesterday, maybe still now, available at the Filmfest at Home edition. So you might see the film. It's a beautiful, beautiful film by a marvelous artist who will be present in another program as well in the international competition. The films of Theodor Ushev, these are some of my favorite animation films as well. So
yes, probably because you are such a great fan also of Jonas Mekas. And when I see sometimes films of, especially like the Diary, when I watch it, I was thinking about the films of Jonas Mekas. So it is a bit like a, yeah. And but you probably already seen that, but I can recommend it maybe to everyone who are listening us now, that if you decide to watch the program I've prepared, then I really recommend to see a film Very Nice, Very Nice, which was also the inspiration for Theodor Ushev to make his film. And I checked it just before our talk, and you can watch it online. So yes, so have you seen it already, Sven?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Yes. So I think it's a very good base before watching the Theodor Ushev film. And
my colleague Sandra is sending a message that the Lipset Diaries will be still available until 8 p.m. Today. So
that's a great news. That's a great news.
Watch this film. We are already excited to watch all the program in the cinemas in September, hopefully. The situation is still a little bit uncertain, and you might ask yourself, will the COVID-19 crisis permanently change the ways film festivals are organized? What do you think?
How it will influence the festivals?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a very good question. I recently read an article that even philosophers are avoiding the answer how the coronavirus will change the societies, because they don't want to risk the false answer. But what I would like to believe in is that, because that's the impression I think of everyone from the festival circle, is the fact that people will appreciate even more this unique experience like a festival, because like festival, so the place where you can go, you can watch beautiful films, you can meet amazing artists, you can meet them in person, you can exchange the passion to animation or films with the others. So I really hope that for the festivals it will change a bit, that in a way that people will start to appreciate this as a human experience and the culture experience even more. So that's the one change. And thinking about the others, I was thinking about the maybe the fact that maybe the nice thing is that with all of the online version of the festivals, we will get the access, or it will be much easier to watch films from the corners of the universe of the world, which we usually didn't check. So I really hope also that it will mean that with the develop of the online possibilities, we will be having access to the places and to the stories which we haven't seen before. So as you can see, I'm pretty positive. So I really hope that it will be like only changes in plus. I'm also thinking that it's not so bad that people will I think think more now about traveling too far. So I think this trips for 1 or 2 days to the festivals I think it will stop. So if your visit at the festival will not be connected with like a heavy duty, we will probably stop traveling so much because it's just like I think it's unethical to do that. Like now, if that would be like a train trip, then okay, but flying to another continent only for 2 or 3 days, that sounds more and more ridiculous now, I think. So that's it.
Too.
Yeah.
So a part of the future of film festivals will be online, definitely.
At least part, because I really hope that
just a part, like we've got more like Instagram talks like this year, and it's a nice experience as well. Many people who wouldn't be in Dresden are able to join us and share their experience with us. So, but I'm really glad that Amsterdam is not that far away from Dresden, so you might take the train in September.
Yeah, me too.
And
that's really good.
We are going to have some ice cream and talk about the selected films a little bit more in September. So thank you very much, dear Renata.
Yeah, thank you so much, Sven, for inviting me to this like a great adventure. It was like it's so nice that I have another reason to come to Dresden again. So it's a great pleasure. Thank you so much.
Great, thank you, and thank you to all our spectators. Thank you for joining the session.
Yeah.
And have a nice evening.
Sven, the one thing I have to do now is for all the people who are who has to see how beautiful Netherlands is, and to that if you are like with a train distance, to make sure that they know why it's important to come to Netherlands. I'll just show you where I am. Okay.
Okay.
So there's lots of beautiful small houses, very greeny areas. The birds are singing. And of course, I'm sitting next to the canal.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah. So yeah, Sven, of course, feel welcome at Kaboom as well.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, bye-bye.